Iswaraya Sivadi Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Pranatim Kurmaha Sadasivendraya. Today is a very interesting Parva, Shravana Masa, Shravana Nakshatram. So sun is in Leo, moon is with Shravana Nakshatram. That is very popularly known as Onam festival. So today's topic for this monologue recording is from again Yoga Sudhakara. So Yoga Shastra, this is the Bhashyam of Sri Sadasiva Brahmendra Saraswati on the Yoga Shastra. So typically Yoga Shastra runs with multiple threads. In few days back, the Prajna, Rutambhara Prajna, the things I have recorded. So taking the same Shastra, but connecting between the Samadhi Pada and the Sadhana Pada, there is a very evident thread that emerges. It is called Iswara pranidhanam. So Patanjali Maharshi picks this topic or connects this topic between the Samadhi Pada while describing the Samadhi in Samadhi Pada 123. 23rd Sutra is Iswara Pranidhanat Va. So basically, Abhyasa, Vairagya, Abhyanta Nirodha. So Abhyasa, Vairagya are described as the methods or the techniques or upayas, and also Iswara Pranidhanam. Then describes in that same immediately after 123 who is Iswara and what is the Pranidhanam. So basically, who is Iswara? Iswara is a special Purusha with no afflictions of any nature, karma or karma vipaka, or nothing is there, and he is infinite, ever pure consciousness, which with a vachakam, with a name, with a indicative name as Pranava. Pranava is tasya vachakaha. With Pranava vachakam, tad japa and performing japa or repetition of that vachakam with vak, which is known as japa, and also performing artha bhavana, tadartha bhavana, tat artha bhavana. These two are the things that are used to gain the grace of that Iswara by a sadhaka practitioner. So Iswara pranidhanatva. So there it starts that a means for samadhi is Iswara pranidhanam. Then the complete description of samadhi is given. Nesabija, Nirbija, Savitarka, Nirvitarka, all those things are given. And starting of Sadhana Pada, he describes in the first sutra of Sadhana Pada, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Iswara Pranidhanani, Kriya Yoga. There are three components or three aspects of Kriya Yoga, which consists of tapa. Tapas is again working with the body, senses, all those mind to control them. using certain methods of tapas. Swadhyaya is again japam of a divine name along with the ardha bhavana, along with the bhavana. So the bringing together the mind and body onto a towards nirodha. So finally it will be the nirodha is the final aim. And Iswara pranidhana. Iswara pranidhana is a component of Kriya yoga. Then after Kriya yoga, Patanjali, so Maharshi also goes and describes the Astanga yoga. So in the sadhana, primarily there are two methods. There is a Kriya yoga sadhana, there is a Astanga yoga sadhana. For different types of dispositions, this is described. So when it comes to Astanga Yoga also includes Iswara Pranidhana, where it includes Ashtangas are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So Samadhi, Pada described the Samadhi, but the first five limbs, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, are described in the Sadhana Pada. Then Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi are described as Samyama in the Vibhuti Pada. So in this yamas, there are 5 yamas which can be separately discussed, but 5 niyamas are described in second pada, 32nd sutra. It says Saucha, Santosha, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Iswara Pranidhanani Niyamaha. So if we see Tapas, Swadhyaya, Iswara Pranidhanani, which are by themselves the Kriya Yoga, the Kriya Yoga components will become set of niyamas for those sadhakas who are following the Ashtanga Yoga Marga of Yama Niyamasana Pranayama Pratyahara method. So there also by each one niyama, what each niyama leads to, then it goes Saucham, it leads to certain result. Santosha leads to something, Tapa leads to something. Like that it will go. Swadhyaya leads to something. Iswara Pranidhana. Here, Iswara Pranidhana Niyama, Samadhi Siddhihi Iswara Pranidhanat. This is the 45th sutra of Patanjali Yoga Shastra, which says Samadhi Siddhihi. So, starting at the Samadhi Pada in 123, Iswara Pranidhanatva, with that. And the cycle closes in the Astanga Yoga as a niyama. Following this niyama is one of the prerequisites, and this prerequisite leads to the Samadhi Siddhi. So, why it is important? Why Iswara Pranidhana are as a bhakti? So, basically what we have seen Yoga Sadhana includes like Anupaya. Anupaya means without any great effort, just by listening Sankhya Yoga, just by clearly understanding, developing Paravairagya, developing Ritambhara Prajna. Once that Ritambhara Prajna, that leads to the Samadhi, Nirbija Samadhi, naturally leading to the moksha. So that is the clear Anupaya equivalent, means not putting any effort. But when putting effort, there are Kriya Yoga, which is one of the things which need to be looked at, and Astanga Yoga is the other one. So we want to give a little bit focus here on that between 230 to 245. So 232, Saucha, Santosha, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Iswara pranidhanani, niyamaha. So what will happen? वितर्क बोधने प्रतिपक्ष भावना वितर्क हिंसादयः. So basically शौचम ahimsa. So basically the niyamas, yamas will lead to the ahimsa. After those ahimsa, why ahimsa is important? Before we start the niyamas stage, the yamas, ahimsa is one of the core value that need to be taken into. So satyam, ahimsa, asteyam, brahmacharyam, aparigraham, those are the 5 yamas. They give ahimsa will give you vairatyaga. Ahimsa will give the victory over the anger, vaira, or the enmity. Satya pratishta, kriya phala ashrayatvat. So basically satyam, speaking only truth, will give you a result. So why these results are brahmacharya pratishta, virya labha. So by brahmacharya the vigor will increase to like that. Aparigrahayana Janmanta Katham. So by aparigraha one gets to know the past jarmas, karmas, and that will help in something. So help in something, help in moving on to the yoga's path, basically. That is the core thing. So what will happen with Saucham? Saucham will give a detach, parairasam sargaha. So it leads to the detachment. So sattva suddhi, all the things which will come. Santoshat, anuttama sukhalabha. Always keeping santosha is contented nature. That will lead you to unsurpassable happiness. So Swadhyaya will give the wisdom of that desired divine power or divine aspect of the reality. So divinity, connection with the divinity, the divine aspect. Samadhi siddhi. So samadhi siddhi will come with Iswara pranidhata. So for surrendering to Iswara, we need to first connect with that Iswara's power. So what is this, what divine power is of Iswara, which the surrender need to be done? That will be one of the questions which we need to reconcile going back to the Samadhi Pada. That is where we see that Iswara is none other than Guru. So this is the so that in the 26th sutra of Purveshamapi Guruhu Kalena Anavachchedat. So who is this Purveshanamapi Guru? Tatra Niratisayam Sarvajna Bijam. What is this Niratisayam Sarvajna Bijam? Sarvajna Bijam is the seed of Sarvajnatvam, knowing everything. Klesa Karma Vipaka Asayai Aparam Rushtaha Purusha Visheshaha Iswaraha. So Iswara pranidhanam Pranidhanam need to be done to the Iswara. Tatra Niratisayam Sarvajna Bijam. So that is the Iswara. Purvesham api Guruhu. So who is Iswara? What divine aspect of Iswara it is the first and the most important Guru, the teacher, the Yogeshwara is described by that Pranava Vacham. So tasya vachikaha Pranavaha. So how that Niyama Palana connects to Iswara's divinity as Guru and surrender on to that Guru. Surrender is what we cannot surrender to a divine power without really understanding that power. So Guru is the highest and greatest protector, and he is verily the form of grace, what we call Kripa, Karuna, Kataksha, whatever all these different words that describe, that is Guru. So Iswaro Murti Bedhat Vibhagino Vyomavat Vyaptya Dehaya Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So that Guru who is not different from Iswara, or that Iswara who is not different from Guru, who is not different from Pratyak Chaitanyam, or the consciousness that is seen inside distinction. So if we see all that outside there is a big divinity somewhere, but what is the consciousness or the Chit Shakti that is seen inside is Pratyak Chaitanyam. That is the same aspect of that what is seen outside. So that is known as Atma. That Murti Bhedat Vibhagine. So because of the Murti Bheda, distinction of the forms. So we see, if as a universal controller, if we see that special Purusha as a Iswara, that is one aspect of the Iswara. The same special Purusha, Iswara, comes as a Guru, external and internal, as a internal Guru who goes and seeks a external Guru, as a external Guru who gives this advice and turns the mind inward towards the Pratyak Chaitanya, connected, that divinities are connected by the Guru's grace, Karuna only, and that Karuna only will lead you to the final prasada of the mind, which is nothing but Samadhi Siddhi. So this thread, if it is thoroughly understood, Yoga Shastra's relation to the Bhakti or Bhakti Yoga will be clear. So yoga has Kriya, yoga has Bhakti, yoga has Jnana. Obviously all the Sankhya Yoga, understanding this Sarvajna Bijam. So without knowing, one cannot surrender. Without surrendering, one cannot know. The internal Chaitanya that is beyond the scope of Pratyaksha or Anumana. Pratyaksha is direct perception, Anumana is the inference, logic, deductive or inductive logic. So that's why the word which comes not in the Yoga Shastra, but in the Vedanta Shastra, what we see is that is called Aparoksha Jnanam. It is not Pratyaksha Jnanam, but not Paroksha Jnanam also. Paroksha Jnana, either it is inference or the perception through Indriyas or the sense organs. So it is knowing the true nature, is being and staying in the true nature of God or self. So Iswara, Guru, Atma. So Pranidhana is a component of surrender, knowing and being also as well. So that is the sadhana, both ways, as Kriya Yoga or Astanga Yoga, which merges or which brings together all the aspects of yoga as mentioned in the Shastras. So with that, again bowing down to my Guru, Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati, who has introduced me to this Yoga Shastra through the Yoga Vedanta, and also specifically to Sri Sadasiva Brahmendra, a great saint, a bhakta, a realized soul, who has given wonderful descriptions of this of this holistic path towards the ultimate reality. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya. Swasti.